Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Jesse's Garage. Well, we're excited to have you. Well, today I thought we'd do just something a little bit different. I was watching one of the channels that I subscribe to, John Fix. If you don't watch him, boy, you need to go and see that guy's work. Man, that guy's good. I love his restoration videos, and he shows us before and after. And well, anyways, John went through and put out a challenge, and I was talking to a few of the guys yesterday on a call, and they asked, "Hey, Jesse, you get ready to do that?" And I didn't have it on my agenda, but the more I thought about it, I went back and looked at that video, and I thought, you know what, that might be kind of fun. And so the challenges that John put out is make a custom screwdriver. However you want to do it, it doesn't matter. Just make something that's custom in a screwdriver form. And I just thought, you know what? I think I have something around here I might be able to do something with. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's just see. But let me get the camera turned around, and I'm going to give you some ideas of what I'm thinking, and then you can tell me what you think at the beginning of the video, and then we're going to jump into it, and let's see what we do, okay? All right, here we go. Let me get the camera turned around. Okay, so here's my thought in regards to this challenge. I found this old piece. I was down in southeast Kansas and was doing a 100-mile garage sale. This gentleman invited me over to his shop, and I picked up a few things. And one of the things I noticed was this. Now, you might notice it has this big S on here. Now, it says ST, and it kind of looks like an O right there, and then VER. I don't know what that is, but it's an all, and so scratch all, and so but you can tell it's pretty beat up, and it's even bent, and so this thing has seen some wear. Obviously, you can tell the bent portion there. The handle's all cracked out, that sort of thing. So I kind of wonder, can I remove this? And maybe this, and maybe make a new handle. I don't know. And then, so what do we do about the bent portion here, right? So what do we do about that? Well, you might remember some months ago, earlier this year, Brandon sent over this beautiful, beautiful bit. It's a replacement bit for a snap-on screwdriver. And so I was kind of thinking, my goodness, what if I took that and made it and merged it into that? I don't know. What do you think? And so that's kind of my thought. So can we take this brand new piece, and you can tell just how clean it is here. I mean, look at that. Man, that is just amazing, right? So it's a gorgeous piece. So we can take that and then take this and merge the two. That's my thought. All right, let's kind of bust it open and let's see what we can do. All right, let me go grab a hammer and some tools, and I'll be right back. All right, so I think what I'm going to do to try to get this off, I'm going to hit on this end since it's so beat up anyways, and let's see if we can knock this loose just a little bit. So let's just kind of see how we go here. Hey, check that out. It came right off. And so there you go. That's what the inside of that looks like. Man, that's pretty dirty. I think that's wood, isn't it? Maybe this is the nail. It looks like maybe it was a nail right there. So it looks like that's part of the nail. And then some of the wood, maybe. I kind of think. I don't know for sure. And so, but anyways, we got the prized possession off the screwdriver, which is this part. You can tell there's a couple little spikes that are there as well. And then kind of go from there. I'm just kind of curious. I don't know if I have something. Yeah, I do. So let's just see if I set that aside. Can I tap on that? Check that out. Starting to come out there. I think it is like a little nail that they put there. And so let's just see if I can get it off here. Something fell out in my hand. Looks like a bunch of wood. And so there's that little piece right there. And so, wow, look at that. And so as we get going, oh, it's a little spiral nail. I see. Okay. And so we have these pieces here that are junk, but now we have this. And this is all metal, incidentally. And so let's see here, ST, you still can't see it. Maybe by the time we clean it up, that'll be there. And so, I thought it was kind of funny, even though it does match. But if this is a snap-on piece and this has this big S, even though it does say something else, it kind of blends together, I think. Okay, but anyways, so there's that. Now, the other challenge is, okay, what can we do about this part? Well, let's hit on this side and let's see if we can drive this down in there. Look at that, it's coming. And so I think there's a little bit of that. And so let's just see here. I'm busting up the wood for sure. Okay, that's what I wanted to get off, is this little collar right here. Anyways, and so here we go. We got the two main pieces. I want to kind of preserve this because we're going to want to try to mimic the sizing of this, right? And so, or I kind of wonder, let's just see here. Oh yeah, that comes right out. So that's beautiful. Now we have our two pieces of wood. If we can kind of preserve some of this history, man, that would be the best, right? Let's see what that does if I did that there. It's kind of loose, but by the time we glue it all up, I kind of wonder if we could drive it back in and it would stay. Let's see if I did it a different way. Yeah, I kind of wonder. And I think I have some tricks that we can do this with. So maybe what we'll do is that instead of me remaking this piece, let's just try to clean this up and then glue it. And then let's see what we can come up with, okay? All right, so let me take that to the side. Here's that old piece that's there. We're gonna clean these up, so we'll throw those in our bath and then put that off to the side. And then what we're gonna do is come in here with my dirty rag. I don't know why I was working on that other one there. And let's see if we can scrape some of this off and see what that looks like. Because this thing looks like it's just greasy as all get out. So let's see here. So I'm just taking a razor blade and I'm just scraping all that junk off of there. Man, that would be wonderful. We could preserve this piece, right? And so all right, so this is how it looks now. So I'll probably do some more sanding on this. I just wanted to scrape most of the junk off so it didn't clog up my sanding pad or whatever I'm going to use on this. But you can tell the difference between the two, right? So there's one. Let's work on this one now. Okay, so we're back. Now we got them both halfway cleaned up. One piece did chunk out. Ugh, makes me so sad. But anyways, we're going to try to work with that anyways. So that goes on this piece over here, obviously. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper, my little detail sander, and I'm going to go through and try to clean this up just a little bit more. All right, let me go take it to a different area so I don't get everything all dusty right here, okay? All right, let's go. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to use. I have this little Milwaukee detail sander. It has kind of a pointy edge over here, and this thing is phenomenal, actually. And so I love using this thing. So let's just see what we can do. Let me zoom out just so that you can get a better view of what we're trying to do. And let's go. Okay, so here's the rough fix of it so far. All right, so we got it somewhat gone down through with the sander and such, but we're not going to be able to probably fix it in its entirety back to factory and probably the finish because it's so embedded with grease. and oil and such like that. So we'll probably just have to do some linseed oil or something of that sort. So we'll see how that goes. But the first thing we want to do is to try to put this back together as good as we possibly can. So what that means is I'm going to try to go through and grab this piece, and we're going to throw some glue in here. Then we're going to put it in the vise, and we're going to try to clamp this bad boy back and glue it back. And let's just start off with there. If we have to, then we'll remake the whole doggone thing. But I think right now that's kind of the game plan. So I'm kind of thinking that kind of fits to some degree right in here like this. And if we can get it to kind of glue up, then we just got to get it close, and then we'll go through and fix the rest with some other filler. Maybe that's the part right there. All right, so that's what it kind of looks like so far. Again, we'll throw this on there just to see, give you a visual, and then you're going to see a little bit of a line there, it looks like, and so, but hopefully we can get it to hide pretty good, I'm hoping and thinking that's what it should look like. And we're probably still going to need to do a filler in there of sorts, just because that piece may not fill out, but we're going to try to soak it in linseed oil to kind of swell it and kind of go from there. All right, so let's go and let me grab some glue, and let's move over to a different spot perhaps, and let's see what we can do, okay? All right, be right back. Okay, we are back here. So let's start off with the piece right here, this one here, that has this little sliver right here. So what we're going to do is take some wood glue, take my little brush here and get some in there, and then we're just going to kind of come in here and coat some of this as good as we possibly can, and we're going to hope that this thing was going to stick together. So even though I don't need it in the middle, I'm just going to create one uniform coat that way, and let's just see what that does. And then this one had that cavity. Remember how that piece slips in there? So we're going to do that. Hopefully you're seeing this okay on the camera here. So, all right. And the reason why we're using a brush, incidentally, is because we want inside every single groove, all those pores of that wood, we want it to really stick, right? And so we're going to want to get this thing to apply as much as we can here. So let's just see. All right, now let's see if we can get this part back in. If I'm got my orientation right, I think it's kind of slides in there to some degree. How did it go before? Kind of hard to tell now with all the glue in it. There we go, I think. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so we got that. All right, so we're going to set that aside for just a half a moment, and we're going to grab some more glue. We're going to come on this side and do the same thing. Now, the reason why we're not doing a real fine finish on the wood part is because we're going to have to come in here and kind of blend it all back in when we get done with the gluing process, right? And so we'll do our final touch-ups on that when we get done here with the final. So let's set that aside for just a moment, and then this part is going to come right in here. So let's see if I can get it to kind of match up. All right, just like that. And then I want to make sure it's flat here for the most part. Right, just about as good as we can get it, which is about right there, I think. And you see how there's some of this glue here. So we want it to really ooze out, because that tells us we got a really good bonding surface there. So what I'm going to do is take my little clamp, and we're going to go through and clamp some of this away here, right? So let's do a couple of them. Let's do one on this side. Hopefully you're seeing that okay. Sorry, my lighting is terrible over here, but there's one. You can see the glue coming out. So let's make sure, yeah, we're still pretty even on top. And now let's go through and do the exact same thing on the on this part here on the top. So let me spread this out just a little bit. And then we're going to try to throw a clamp on this side, right? So let's do that. Go down just a little bit. Get it halfway centered. There we go, just like that. All right, so squeeze this one a little tighter, this one a little tighter. So that's what we're looking at there. So as we look at it, you can tell that there's squeeze out right there. So we love that. Now let's go through and probably throw away our brush and cap our glue. And then we're going to get a little bit of water and we're going to wipe that handle down just a little bit, just so we don't have as much work to do whenever we come back. Let me grab some water. All right, so got me my little rag here, so just doing a little bit of water on here. And then we're going to wipe this down. And that water, incidentally, is actually going to clean this glue up so we don't have as much work to do. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And so that's going to help us in that regard, in regards to cleanup. And then it's also going to kind of wipe down the wood and give it a little bit of some moisture. Hopefully that'll seep in and swell up that wood just a little bit as well. All right, so here's the little driver. It's kind of hard to see with this this portion, the camera angle and the lighting here. But as you can see, in fact, let me raise my camera up just a little bit. So as you can see, it's not bad. You know, I think we can put it in there just a little bit. There might be a few areas that we need to kind of fill in, but my goodness, that's not bad, right? And so by the time we put some oil in there and let that swell up just a little bit more, this thing might just fit really good. All right, so let's let it dry. We'll be back. All right, so I thought real quick while we're still here, we have these pieces. And so I don't know if we're going to reuse this or not. It kind of has that funky shape, which I'm kind of digging on, actually. So I think we're going to try to reuse all three of these pieces. So let's see how that goes. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to dump this into the ultrasonic cleaner and get all that gunk out of there. And so let's just see what that's going to look like, and then we'll polish this up and kind of go from there. All right, so I don't think you need to see me do that. I'm just going to dump it in there, and then the next time you see me, I think we'll have this out of there, and then we'll start cleaning it up. All right, here we go. Okay, I got one of the pieces out of the ultrasonic cleaner. So this is the extent of what we're working with at this point. And so let's go through and put it on the wire wheel first, and then we'll do some inside with the Dremel wire wheel, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's get it turned on. right, so let's go through and clean this up just a little bit. So I'm going to use my alcohol and get all the extra grease or debris from the sanding and the wire wheel off of here, so we can just get it to get real clean so that bluing will take. So as you can see that this is how much I got off of it, and so I'm going to flip it over, put a little bit more alcohol on it, and then let's see if we can get any more. So I'm going to clean this part. Okay, so there's our product right there. Now let's see what we can do to give it a little bit of bluing, shall we? All right, so I'm going to grab a couple pieces here that I use for the bluing process, and then let's see. So I have my little Q-tip portion on here that's a little sharp on a stick, so I really like using that because I can go through and dip into my bluing liquid gun bluing compound here, or liquid. So let's see what we can do here. And like I said, all I want to do is kind of get in here. So I want to lay it flat so that way it'll kind of seep into where I want it to go without me trying to overshoot it with too much material here. So let's see how this goes here. And that's the nice thing I like about these particular Q-tips, is because they kind of have that point on them, and I can kind of get a little bit more precise and kind of give it a better feel here. Like right here, it kind of is real nice just to be able just to kind of scoot right along the edge there. Not that it's perfect, but as you can see, man, that S is going to start popping out here in just a moment, I think, right? So let's see here. Let's get on this side, do the same thing. All right. Now we're still going to have to kind of take it back to the conditioning belt, because you can tell right there that it overshoots just a little bit. But it's not bad though. Not bad at all. All right, that's kind of what we're after. What do you think? Kind of gives it that old school look a little bit. Kind of goes with that not so polished up. So I think that's kind of cool. Might do a little bit in here. All right, so there's that. What do you think about that bad boy? I think that's not bad, right? So we need to clean it up a little bit still, but I think I kind of like it. But what I'm going to do is dry it off, take it over to the water. I'm going to steel wool it just to get it to pop. We'll go through and give it one last polish, and then let's start putting the screwdriver together. How about that? All right, so real quick, while that's drying, I'll give you an update. This is what I've been doing with the handle. And so the handle has been soaking in boiled linseed oil. And so I say soaking, I mean I dipped it and gave it several coats. But you can see, man, this thing, it kind of went back together real nice, didn't it? All right. So that's kind of what we have to work with a little bit. I think we're still going to need to do a little bit of work that I was thinking about. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go through and get this cleaned up, and I'll be right back here. Okay, we are back. So we have our top cap. I have a little collar for the bottom piece here, and then we have our screwdriver insert that we're going to use, and then we have our handle. So let's see what we can do. Now, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we need to try to put this inside here, but I want to fill this just to give this a bottom, but I don't know how deep I need to go yet. So I think we need to do this first, and then we're going to drive and glue a piece of wood inside there so this will bottom out against it, right? And so away we go. Now, there's a couple different ways we could do this. One is we can just see how it fits for a dry fit of some sort. And then we could also go through and maybe put a little bit of epoxy or something of that sort in it. So let's just see first what we're up against, right? So I can get it to go. And so let's just see here. If I kind of push down on it just a little bit, and I'm just doing it by hand. Okay, so that's by hand there. I'm putting pretty good little pressure there. So let's go a little bit more. Okay, and keep in mind, I'm never going to use the screwdriver, so I'm not planning on putting all kinds of torque, and it's more for the challenge effect than anything else. But that's kind of what it looks like right there. What do you think? Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good. Let's just do kind of a rough fit here. Now you might notice there's a little spike there. That's that hole that's there. We're going to try to line those back up just like that. So that's the start of the look right there. Okay, and so and another reason why we need to put something in there is because as we do, I need something to screw onto that or drive that nail back in. So let's see what we can do with this portion here before we get to that. Now this has swollen up, right? And so I may need to do a little bit of sanding on here maybe. And if not, we'll try to find something that's just going to drive on there. And so because this collar is not quite going on there as easy, and it's mainly because of this part right here. Probably because of the gluing and because of that, or actually, check this out. Check that out. All right, so I got it. So there's that. What do you think so far? Man, that's kind of cool, isn't it? So, all right. And then as we get going again, let's see what that looks like. So there's kind of the finished product right there. So let me go through and I'm going to glue this in there. I'm going to glue the shaft, the driver part into the wood, and then we're going to go through and find a screw. So the next time you see it, it'll be all finished out. I'm going to put it all back together. I'm going to drive a little rod in here, and then away we go. All right, let's see what we can do. Okay, we are back over here at the toolbox top. So here's what it looks like so far. And so I went through and put a screw in there, and you can't hardly see it, doesn't seem, does it? So I don't know what's wrong with my camera, but there you go. It's a little bit better. If I turn it this way, I think it says Stover is what it says, S-T-O and then V-E-R on that side. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now, I went ahead and put the plug into the end so I could put a screw in it. And on this side, I went ahead and put that, the screwdriver metal bit inside. And then instead of doing like an epoxy or something like that, it was a pretty tight fit, but then I just filled up all the gap. And what I did is that I just took like one of these Q-tips, and then I just spliced it all down and created a bunch of little splinters that went all the way around. So that's kind of where we're at now. So let's go ahead and put this on. Let's see if we can get it on there like we did last time. See if we can find that magic spot here. Oh, and then the other thing that I did incidentally was I went ahead and steel wooled all this down just to kind of give it a little bit better finish that way. So let's see here if I can get this on straight. There we go. All right, so my goodness, there we are. That's the finish. So we have a screwdriver. Now it still needs to dry, of course. But we have the screwdriver, and then we have the end cap, which is killer, isn't it? Wow, look at that. That is gorgeous, I believe. So we didn't go all out and polish it all up, like for instance, like a mirror finish or anything like that. We just kind of left it as good as we could to kind of give it this patina look, because the handle, we didn't make a new handle. We glued it all back together and then did it. Oh my goodness. That is amazing, isn't it? Wow. I love it, love it, love it. So John Fix, sir, I really hope that this is kind of a piece that we can display in your on your video. So here we go. I want to clean that up with some with my towel and a little bit of water and get that cleaned up. But other than that, we'll take some pictures and send it over. Thank you guys. Let's close out the video and let's see what we can do to give you a better peek at it, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, and we are back. Wow, can you believe that? Well, we got it done. It's not totally dried yet at all. We can't test it, but just to give you an idea, that's what it looks like there. Wow, look at that cap. Now, I went ahead and put a brass screw in it, and I know it's a Phillips head instead of a flathead, but I kind of like it. I kind of like a little bit of the modern twist with the tip this way is modern. You got a little bit of a modern screw, and plus it's just rounded. And I love that. I think that just kind of adds to the the flowing lines of it all. But my goodness, didn't that turn out good? Man, that S and that stover, that just turns out real nice. And then just as a side view, this is what it looks like here. Wow. And then of course you look at the handle. This is what it looks like on this side. Man, and then of course you got that tip. That's cool as all get out that way. See if I can do it this way and get a little better angle perhaps, I don't know. But anyways, overall, that's what we did. That's what we made for the challenge that John Fix is putting out to everybody. Now, if you haven't done anything as far as trying to do something like that or make a screwdriver for the challenge, you should do it. Man, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad I found that piece out on my hunt one day and I kept it around, and then John came out with his challenge, and then this is my entry. So man, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Did it turn out good? Did it not? I don't know. I think it's kind of killer, actually, compared to what it was. You know, we had that awl that was on here. I think that's what they call it, and it was all bent up and it was rusty and pitted and the whole 9 yards. Man, I tell you, I love that thing. So, man, this is good. But put your comments down below. We'd love that. Make sure you hit that like button. It's your first time here. Boy, come through and come join the fun. This is the kind of things we're doing. We just like to do all kinds of things around the garage that way. All right, friends, until next time, we'll see you on the next one.